¿Qué tal, gente de Muerte TV? ¿Cómo están? El día de hoy creo que uno de mis sueños cumplidos, con quien estoy aquí al lado, que muchos de ustedes pueden que lo reconozcan, pero él mismo les va a decir quién es. Who are you, man? First.
Kevin Martin from Candlebox.
Exacto, estamos con Kevin Martin de Candlebox. Bueno, chicos, vamos a hacer una entrevista. Esperemos que podamos hacer todas las preguntas. Y posteriormente a eso, verán la entrevista. Eso. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Hola, amigo. I'm very well, thank you.
Well, this is your fourth visit to Chile.
Mm-hmm.
And last time you were here, it was kind of a goodbye tour, right?
Tried, yes. I thought so.
Why do you want us to say goodbye to music?
You know, I had gotten to a point, I think during COVID, you know, the pandemic, spending time at home with my wife and my son, I had realized how much I actually missed of that. And, you know, my son just turned 18 now.
Oh.
And so back then he was, 12. And I had this kind of epiphany that I didn't want to miss any more. I didn't want to miss any more of that life, of raising that, that young man. I wanted him to have his father in his life. And my wife and I are still together, but, there's only so much a mom can do. And I really loved being home for 20 months, not having to pack a suitcase, get on a plane, get in a bus, go play shows, and the stress of that. So when I came out of that, we started working on a record, and I really kind of felt like I was done. I thought it was that chapter of my life. The book was closed, and I was moving on to something new. I was releasing a bourbon with a buddy and had all these plans, So I did. We did the Three Doors Down tour, and that was it. I was calling it quits. And then I got a phone call from Gavin from Bush, Rosdale, and he said, I'm going out with Jerry Cantrell, and I would love to have Candlebox come with. And I've known Gavin since 94, but I'd never toured with him before. So it was really kind of important for me, and to be on tour with Jerry Cantrell as well. And I love Jerry. I've known him from Seattle forever. So that was kind of like, okay, I'll do one more. And then Pete came back and sparked this kind of love for music again for me. So I think I was missing my friend, the songwriter that I had written the first album with. And
because you don't have the same members from the first album.
No, Pete left in 2015 to focus on his family and his wife and children. And
something you wanted to do.
and something I wanted to do. And I knew that even I love Island and BJ and Adam and Brian, who played with me before Pete. But he just brought something back to me that I knew I was missing. And so that's why we're back together doing it. And there's no foreseeable future ending of it anymore. So I'm glad we're working. We're writing songs now for a new record and moving forward.
Speaking of which, how has it been being a father and having this great, gigantic band and touring the world?
It's hard. I brought him out on tour with me, the Three Doors Down tour. I had him out with me for 2 weeks, made him work.
The guy just died.
Yeah, Brad. Yeah, it was sad. Rest in peace. He was a lovely guy, Brad. But my son was out with me on that tour, and I made him get up every morning at 8 o'clock, and he had to work with the crew. And I was like, listen, this is life, and it may not be your life, but at some point you're going to have a job, and this is what it means. And I hopefully taught him something about that. But raising a child while you're on the road as a father is very difficult, because it's not the phone call from the wife. Hey, your son did this today, and you get on the phone and you have a conversation on the phone. It's not the face-to-face thing. And this is far more of an impact with character for a young man is a face-to-face contact than a phone call.
And you cannot educate through the phone.
No. So that's been, I think, the hardest thing for me. And I think maybe the hardest thing for my son as well.
Oh, but you're a nice guy. Not many rock stars do the math and say, well, I got to raise what I did.
Well, I got in a fight with him yesterday.
Oh.
So
part of the.
I'm not such a nice guy,
but it's part of the game.
It is. I mean, I think everyone will tell you. Every father that is a touring musician will tell you the same thing. It's you do your best, you try your best. The re-entry back into the relationship is the hardest thing when you go home. Like this space shuttle coming in, and the everything gets really hot on the bottom. It's very similar when you come home.
Well, yeah.
Because they have had their routine, and you've had this kind of, I'm going to drink here, and I'm going to have this for lunch, and I'm going to do all this, and I'm going to play these shows, and I get all these hand claps, and then you get home, there's no applause.
Nope.
And actually Gavin Rosdale said that to me. When we got home from the tour, I said, "How you doing? Are you okay?" He goes, "Yeah, just no applause." And I think that's very funny because it's true. It's you come home and you're a father, and your kids don't care what you do.
You're not the rock star anymore.
No, man.
You're just a simple guy that's raising a kid,
driving them to school. And yeah, so
I guess parents at the school are, "Oh, you're Chris Martin."
Yeah.
Oh, kidding. Sorry.
I wish I was Chris Martin. Yeah.
Why?
I mean, Coldplay is pretty great.
You're better looking.
Thank you.
Well, going back to the rock star thing, do you guys find yourselves as a grunge band?
No, we never really thought that term fit us. And I don't think really any band from Seattle, if there were any band that I would say that term would work for, would be probably the Melvins or Tad, or Grunt Truck, the band Grunt Truck, because there's a dirtiness to their music that we don't have.
No, it's strange.
Yeah.
You guys were like sensitive.
We're like the Journey of Seattle.
like big arena rock songs, "Don't Stop Believing," and whatever. I mean,
you guys showered too.
Yes,
that's another thing that
we wash our hair.
Not many of those bands did back in the day.
So we were, and we were also kind of the redheaded stepchild. I don't know if that's a term you guys would understand, but like we were kind of the band that the city didn't really want.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that. Yeah. Why did that happen? Why people said that you were like rich guys and your family
moved there to get No, I mean, it's I think the funniest thing about it is none of those bands, Chris is from Bainbridge Island. He's not from Seattle. Chris Cornell. Lane was not from Seattle. He was from Des Moines, South. Andy Wood was from Bremerton. Every musician was from like around the city, not from the city proper. We happened to be from the East Side, which was considered like the wealthy community, but we didn't grow up wealthy. My family was on government cheese. We were on welfare for a long time. So that was the biggest misconception about us.
You worked in a thrift shop, right?
Yeah, a thrift shop and a shoe store. Yeah.
And you met this girl, what was the name?
Susan Silver.
Yes.
Yeah, she was managing Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Screaming Trees. And so that was kind of my first introduction to a lot of the musicians. Then we rehearsed at the Music Bank, which is where, of course, Alice in Chains made their box set, the Music Bank, which that we rehearsed right next to Alice in Chains. I was playing drums in a punk band, so it was a misconception about us. But we were also 5 years in age younger than all of those guys. I'm only 57. I think Lane would have been 64 this year or 63 this year.
Yeah, you guys were the youngest one in the scene.
Jerry just turned 60. So I'm still 3 years younger than Jerry. So it was just kind of, we were the band that nobody knew because we were too young to play in any of the bars.
That's true. Yeah. So, what's your connection with South America? How do you connect with South America?
We knew we sold records here back in the 90s. We had a manager that wouldn't bring us down here because we made so much money in the States.
That's like Elvis thing.
Yeah, exactly. And back in the 90s, that was a lot of the American bands, their management didn't let them leave the States because they made so much money. So we'd always wanted to come here. And then I believe it was 2009, a promoter brought us down, and it was our first experience here. And it was eye-opening for us because we realized how much Latin America, South America loves rock and roll music and is so passionate about it. And like we are about our music, about what we create, they're just as passionate. And that's such a beautiful thing for us because America's kind of lost its love affair with music. Even though Coachella's massive and Lollapalooza in America is massive, everybody's on their phones. Nobody's paying attention to what they're there. But they paid $300 for a ticket. But their whole thing is like taking a picture of themselves at the show. And that's not how it is here. It's just, we want rock and roll. We want our bands. We love our bands. Sing to us and we will sing back to you. And, it's the chi-chi-chi, la-la-la. It's like, it's such a magical thing, and that's my connection with this. It's like a second home for us, and we love it. And I'm so grateful that Santiago and Chile has opened its arms to us. It's pretty special.
Thank you for that. It feels warming here when you say it.
Yeah.
I think that might be because we here in South America we don't have the greatness of the bands from the United States. So people there get used to the greatness that you guys have,
Take it for granted.
of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
So they don't appreciate it as it should be.
Yeah.
So, well, next question. Do you think that, well, this question was because I watched an interview where you explained the Henry Rollins thing, where he said you were a Seattle scene asshole. Do you think that Seattle scene could have happened here in Chile back in the 90s? Like, would if or not in Chile, in South America? Do you think that the scene that was made in Seattle would have happened here in South America?
I think if you'd had the access to it that we have in America, I mean, MTV was so instrumental in the Seattle music scene happening. I mean, it's, when you first saw the Teen Spirit video, there was no denying how great Nirvana was. But if you'd listened to Nirvana prior to that, you maybe wouldn't have loved them so much.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And like the Bleach album's my favorite Nirvana record. But I think that there was a perfect storm of what was happening in Seattle, the sincerity, the honesty of the music, the creative nature of it, the weather, the environment. It was brewing this aggressive rock and roll that didn't care what anybody thought. They didn't want to be rock stars. They just wanted to make music. They just wanted to play. Then along came MTV and publicity and money and spinning this story about the city. I think if you'd had that access here, yes, because I know there are great bands from this city. La Mala Senda is one of my favorite bands. Cristobal is one of my closest friends. Temple Agents, Fernando and the boys. I mean, I have great relations. They're my best friends down here, and they write great music. And I know that there's rock and roll here that's happening. And I've been to shows, small shows in little clubs when I've come here, and I've seen amazing bands. I just don't think you have the access to it here. I don't think that you have the media that will support it. I know you have the radio stations, but the radio stations have to play Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin.
Whatever they said that they have to play.
Exactly. But I do think it could have happened here. I think that there was music coming from South America in Chile. I mean, Sepultura is from Brazil, yeah? Yeah, so I mean, and they've been around a long time.
It was weird because Sepultura is like an exception.
Yeah.
Because I think it was the first band from South America that made it on the States.
Yeah.
You know?
And that had everything to do with kind of that thrash metal thing, that was happening with Metallica and Slayer, and Sepultura fit that. And somehow it found its way it found its way up to the States. And I mean, I remember seeing Sepultura in the 90s, I was like, this band's amazing. And then he started speaking Spanish. I was like, wait, they're not from the States. Like I had always thought
Portuguese.
Exactly, Portuguese. I had always thought that they were an American rock band. So I think it could have happened. I just think that you just didn't have the outlets for it.
Yeah, that's true. It's very cheap media here in South America.
Well, there's not a lot of money. You're a community that is fighting for its rights and fighting to survive, and your government doesn't want it.
Not the best.
No,
let's say.
No.
Well, have you listened to any of the new music that surrounds like original artists like you, like Nirvana, like everything, like the collaboration that just Post Malone had with Nirvana? And what do you think about it?
Post Malone's an anomaly. I think he's an oddball. He's talented, obviously. I don't know if 10 years ago he were starting, or if he were starting now, what he started 10 years ago, it would have hit. I think that, the mumble rap sort of thing is a little bit overblown. I'm not really the right person to ask about that because I don't listen to it. It's not.
That's why I asked, because you are one of the main composers or writers lyric writer that I've seen that makes the greatest lyrics on the States, and you were from an era that is coming back now. I don't know why, and it's making these mixes with urban. We call it urban artists here in South America, but you call it like trap artists, or it's a weird combination of it, and I don't know if that is healthy for the music because of the auto tune.
I can't stand that.
Yeah, what do you think about it? Why did that happen?
Well, I think it was necessity. You know, I think that people were looking for new ways to find an outlet. And if you're not a great singer, you use something that makes you a great singer. If the computer gives you an opportunity, you know, I really admire bands like War on Drugs. I love this band from England that just broke up called October Drift. I like the music where the singer's not great, but they don't fix it. That's the beauty of music. Rock and roll should be fucked up. The Ramones. I mean, what? The greatest punk rock band ever? He cannot sing.
Creedence.
But yes, Creedence. I mean, it's like, that's what makes Eddie Vedder. I mean, Chris Cornell's an anomaly just because he was so magnetic and so charismatic, and what a voice. But he had moments where it wasn't right for what they were doing, but it sounds killer, and that's why it worked. I think if you perfect this thing, why pop music, I hate it, is it's perfect. And music's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to have acne. It's supposed to have pimples and warts and blood and guts. Imperfections. It's supposed to not be perfect. And that's why the music I love, punk rock, is a constant in my, my calendar of playlists. It's something that I always go back to because I don't like clean guitars. I don't like clean drums. I like messy shit. Now the weird thing is I'm completely OCD. My room is spotless.
Obsessive compulsive.
I make my bed in my hotel room, but I like my music messy, and I think that that's what music's supposed to be. So I can't answer to why Post Malone's done what he's done. I think that there was a necessity for him and there's a place for him, but now he's switching over to the alt country thing, and
it's fucking weird.
And he's got a bar in Nashville, and it's
he's gonna be friends with Phil Anselmo soon.
But you know what? It's like he's cashing in on his popularity, and there are certain people that want that. They want the success just to cash in on it. I play shows for free all the time. I don't care about money. Doesn't matter to me. I just want to play music.
That's, I think, the difference between you and other musicians, because you love music, not the business.
I don't like the business.
Well, being that said, back in the day, you said that the most difficult thing while you were writing or doing music was that you felt that a song was never completed, was never ready. And from what I've seen, you said that on the first album, none of the songs were ready for you. Has that changed with the years? No?
I won't even listen to that first record.
I still feel like, for me as a singer, I wasn't where I am now. As a lyricist, I feel I'm very young on that record. But I know what those songs mean, and I know what they meant to me, and that's the only way I knew how to say them, and that's the only way I knew how to write them. I think that every record I've ever done, I feel is unfinished, and I when I play these songs live now, I try to finish them on stage.
And how do you do it? How do you finish them?
Look for new melody, sing it a little bit differently, change a guitar part, put something in it. Like in Simple Lessons now, we have a guitar solo after the second chorus, which on the record there was no guitar solo. I'm always trying to press those songs a little bit further still to this day.
Okay, this is a question that I always do to every musician that I interview, which is, what do you like the most, the studio or live playing?
Live. I love live.
Studio's too chaotic, no?
It's very chaotic, and it's a lot of waiting. That's a lot of perfecting. It's a lot of fixing. It's a lot of change. and what I love about live is that you are that in that moment. There's no fixing it. And even when I fucked up songs live and I stopped the song,
Oh.
Yeah. And I'll
you
go back.
restart it, or
I'll go, I fucked that up. Let's restart the song. Yeah.
Tool did that on a 16-minute song, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maynard is like the perfectionist
Yep.
of the perfectionists.
Yeah. And he's a character, man. I've known him a long time. He's a character.
I think he's a nice guy, right?
Yeah, he is. Incredibly friendly guy.
He loves Chilean wine.
Yep. Yeah, and he's got his own winery, and I think he's doing
in California, I think.
No, it's Sonoma, Arizona.
Oh.
Yeah, called Mercado? No, Merkin.
Oh.
In Caduceus. That's his. Yeah.
Have you tried Chilean wine though?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
We had some last night. I can't remember what it's called. We went to Fernando from Temple Agents, and I went to
Bar de René?
No, it's a steakhouse. It's
a steakhouse.
Called Carrera?
La Fuente Carrera. Could be.
No, it's just Cadaver. It's right on he's the guy who owns it's got like 3 restaurants. They're all outdoors, pergolas and stuff. It's beautiful.
Oh, it's a boulevard, right?
Yeah, and it's just a steakhouse, but they're like the greatest soccer player in Chile was there last night for dinner. Your former president was there.
Okay.
Cadaver.
Cadaver?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Yeah. Candela.
That's
Candela. Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know which one is it.
Yeah.
I don't really know the exact name, but I know which one is it.
Yeah.
And have you tried any of the Chilean drinks here?
Yeah, pisco sours.
Piscola?
Piscola, yeah, we've had that a couple times. It's a little sweet for me.
Terremoto?
No, not had it.
It's earthquake, the translation.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's wine with pineapple ice cream.
Wow.
And this red thing, which is called granadina.
Interesting.
At the bottom.
Sounds a little sweet to me, too.
Yeah, and some Fernet on it.
Oh, Fernet. You guys love Fernet.
Yeah, we do in South America.
Yeah.
Well, last question. So you could go with the other interviewers. Is anything new coming from you guys from Candlebox, like new material?
Yeah, we're working on new songs now. We're going to try and get a record out maybe next year. We're just not rushing it. We're just working, getting Pete back into the writing world with us because he's been gone for 10 years. So just kind of working that back in because we've written 4 records without him. So trying to reacclimate ourselves to songwriting with one another. But hopefully next year it'll be out. Yeah.
Nice. Well, Kevin, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Gracias.
It's a dream for me because I never thought I would ever meet you.
Oh, right on, man.
Yeah, I listened to you since I was 15. I'm 35 right now.
Oh, man, thank you.
So
Pleasure mine.
it's amazing to listen to some part of that Seattle scene,
Yeah, man.
which I really love. That's because my outfit now.
Flannel.
Yeah.
You just need the Doc Martens. You know,
Oh, I couldn't. It's too expensive here. So, bueno, esto fue, chicos, la entrevista con Kevin Martin. Can you say hello to Muerte V to the camera, please, Kevin?
Buenos días, Motivi. Muerte.
Bueno, gente, esto ha sido todo. Cuídense, nos vemos en otra entrevista. Hasta luego.